How will the UK react to Trump's deal and aluminium tariffs? It was early morning in London when the news broke. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, now re-elected in 2025, had decided to reinstate steep tariffs on steel and aluminium imports. The move sent shockwaves through global markets, sparking concern among American allies, including the United Kingdom. The announcement, standing at a press conference in Washington, D.C., Trump declared, "For too long, foreign nations have taken advantage of American industry. We're bringing jobs back and protecting our workers." The tariff rates, set at 25% for steel and 10% for aluminium, would apply to most foreign exporters, including the UK. Prime Minister James Collingwood, who had been in office for just under a year, was in a cabinet meeting when his chief economic advisor rushed in with the news. The room fell silent as officials quickly grasped the potential consequences. The immediate fallout. For British steel and aluminium producers, this was a major blow. The UK exported hundreds of thousands of tons of these materials to the U.S. annually, making America a critical trading partner. Industry leaders wasted no time voicing their concerns. Sir William Trent, CEO of Sheffield Metals, warned, "These tariffs will make it significantly harder for UK firms to compete in the American market. We could see plant closures and job losses." Meanwhile, financial analysts noted the potential for increased costs in key industries, including construction and manufacturing, which relied on exports to the U.S. Diplomatic response. By the afternoon, the UK government had already summoned the U.S. ambassador for discussions. Prime Minister Collingwood took to the podium outside 10 Downing Street. "The United Kingdom has always been a strong ally of the United States, and we believe in fair trade," he said. "We will seek urgent discussions with the U.S. administration to ensure British businesses are not unfairly targeted." Behind closed doors, officials debated the UK's options. Foreign Secretary Emily Rhodes pushed for diplomacy, advocating for direct negotiations with Washington. Others, like Trade Secretary Mark Harrison, suggested retaliatory tariffs on American products. Pressure from industry and Parliament. In Parliament, opposition parties lambasted the government for not securing a stronger post-Brexit trade deal with the U.S. "This is a direct consequence of our weakened global standing," thundered Labour MP Sarah Whitman. The issue also reignited the debate over whether the UK should strengthen ties with the European Union to counterbalance American economic pressure. Meanwhile, the Confederation of British Industry, CBI, and major unions demanded urgent relief measures, including government subsidies to offset potential losses. Negotiations and countermoves. After a tense few weeks, British trade officials flew to Washington to seek exemptions. Leveraging the UK's long-standing security partnership with the US, they argued that penalizing British steel would only harm both nations. Behind the scenes, American manufacturers, who relied on British steel components, also lobbied against the tariffs. The political pressure grew, and eventually, Trump's administration signaled willingness to negotiate. The final outcome. After a month of high-stakes diplomacy, the UK secured partial exemptions for certain steel categories, while also agreeing to stricter export quotas. Though it wasn't a full victory, British leaders framed it as a win. "We have protected jobs and ensured continued access to the U.S. market," said Trade Secretary Harrison. However, the crisis left lasting effects. British manufacturers began exploring alternative markets, particularly in Asia. Politically, the episode deepened skepticism about the UK's economic reliance on the U.S. and reignited discussions about rebuilding trade ties with Europe. Conclusion. The UK's reaction to Trump's steel and aluminium tariffs showcased the country's struggle to balance diplomacy, economic stability, and national pride. While the immediate damage was contained, the episode underscored the fragile nature of global trade in an era of rising protectionism. Would the UK face another trade war in the future? Only time would tell.